The Age of Twilight, the end of time, Revelations, Ragnarok, the end of the ages, whatever term you may want to say, I think everybody at one point in their life has probably heard this, and every different civilization has probably always thought that the end was nigh, and eventually, all of humanity would cease to exist. And it's really these phrases, these lines, that really perfectly capture what Vinland Saga is about, but also what humanity is in general, what we're always striving to hold on to. And while catching up to Vinland Saga, I realized just how amazing Askeladd's character is, and just what he represents. And what I really think I enjoy about Vinland Saga more than anything is how it takes a more of a show, don't tell approach. It doesn't give us a lot of context to Askeladd as a character, like in terms of, let's say, a lot of his backstory or what really drives him, but we're able to kind of get a good glimpse of his personality just through, the showing of his personality, without us even learning much about him. Like, it isn't telling us who he is, it just, we get to come to that conclusion on our own, and I really appreciate that about Vinland Saga. And I know many are probably like, why are you so focused on Askeladd when obviously he isn't the MC? But even though he isn't, he really holds a major part within the story, because obviously he is the end goal. He is the end game for Thorfinn, our MC, because he wants to get vengeance. He wants to take down Askeladd, and when he does, that is when he finally can set aside his blade and move on, and potentially have a future kind of like his father did, a life like his father, until it came to an end. But whatever happens though, Askeladd as a character is very significant, important to the story, and even if, he is taken down by Thorfinn, he will still remain very relevant because of what he represents. And I kind of want to look at, one brief moment of his character that really stood out to me, and that was when he was talking to Thorfinn on top of a hilltop, and he started talking about the Age of Twilight, started talking about how there was a civilization prior before them, the Romans and all that, and how they fell. They were once the greatest, the strongest, and eventually, their civilization fell. And basically what he was trying to say to Thorfinn in that moment is that humanity is fleeting. Civilizations are fleeting, lives are fleeting, everything eventually comes to an end. He realizes that sooner or later he will meet his end, even if it's at old age or if he dies on the battlefield. He realized that it is quickly approaching, and it's kind of like he had a little bit of a midlife crisis, honestly, when he starts talking about Age of Twilight, Ragnarok, etc., when he decides to go in all or nothing. And the best way to really look at that scene that really just stood out to me was that he, as an individual, was someone that was basically saying that if I'm going to die, I'm going to go down fighting to my very last breath. And it's kind of a message I think everybody's heard at one point or time in their life, that you should take every day in stride and think it's your last. And that's kind of what he was starting to say. He's like, my time is drawing near. I need to think that this might be my final action on this world, so I need to give it my all, do what I want to do, and achieve what I want to achieve. And I appreciate that about his character. And that's the big thing that kind of, the point of this, it kind of falls in line with what Thorfinn is after. See, as we know, Thorfinn, he's trying to take down Askeladd, and in that moment, Askeladd kind of, reveals his personality a little bit, kind of how he is also worrying about his mortality. And it's something that humanity is always worried about. We've always worried about our mortality. We've always worried about the end. It's something that I think everybody has thought about. And it's one of the reasons why you see in a lot of literature, entertainment, etc., that focuses on people that want to obtain eternal life, immortality, youth, etc. It's because it's always something that humanity has been drawn to, the unobtainable. And I think if we ever did obtain it, then we might not want immortality as much, because there obviously would be some drawbacks to it. But that's for another discussion. But to get back on topic, though, the point is that Askeladd knows that he will never be able to stay around forever. And he knows that one day Thorfinn will get his goal. That's what he even says. He's like, as time goes on, I grow older and I grow weaker. you get, older, you get a little bit stronger until you're at my point, and eventually you will overpower me. And it's kind of sad, really, because he's basically saying is eventually you will achieve your dream, but maybe not in the way you hoped, because if I'm not in my prime when you beat me, then that means that you technically never defeated me at my best, and so you would never really know. And it's kind of a little bit more to it as well. When he starts talking about, like, the age of Twilight, he's talking about his age as well, and it's possible that Thorfinn might not ever really get closure to his dream. For instance, if Askeladd, died in combat or died of old age, then technically Thorfinn never really achieved what he wanted. Even if the person he wants to kill dies, it's not technically a victory for him, because he's been trying so hard, working so hard to get to that point to bring him down, and if he died to something else, he would feel cheated, and he would lose his dream in a moment. And I think it really just grounds the series in reality, especially for what he wants, and it's like one of the reasons why I was drawn to Vinland Saga, was because, it isn't just about, like, one major objective, oh, I want to be the king, or etc. He just wants to honor his family, be a proud warrior, and then move on. And speaking of warrior, this gets into other aspects of the story that, I was watching when I was catching up, and that is, it's very clear that Thorfinn, he now understands the lesson that his father was trying to teach him. As we know from the earlier stages before Thors died, he was trying to teach his son a lesson, saying that there is no enemies. Nobody has an enemy, you just decide who's your enemy. Nobody really is your enemy. You just decide it, and there you go. And that's basically what, Thorfinn has done. He has decided that Askeladd is his enemy, and he will do anything he can to bring him down. But at the end of the day, if he set aside his blade, he most likely could be friends with Askeladd, and they could be really good friends. And that's kind of the point here, is that, he has created his own enemy. And then also, when he sees the people, when he's marching alongside a bunch of soldiers going to go attack, he's like, why is everybody enjoying war? It's not fun and all that. And you see him getting very angry. It's basically exactly what his father thought. His father one day just started to hate war, started to hate things, and he realized that, and he left the battlefield. And that's kind of what, Thorfinn is going through. He's realized now how awful war is, and he doesn't want nothing to do with it. But the only reason why he's still there is to bring down Askeladd. So that's the major point of this. He has now realized his father's, motive, why his father was like he was, but he still won't act upon it because, once again, for his pride, for his family. It's really interesting, and I just like how both characters, like Thorfinn and Askeladd, are very complex, and, you can't really just describe them in one word, because there's so many emotions, different things that you can just, have on them that doesn't just describe them. Like, you can't just say Thorfinn is prideful. You can't just say Askeladd is, let's say, a strong warrior. There's just so much more going on with the characters, and I think that, these episodes that I watched really just do a good job with progressing their characters to such a amazing extent. I'm really in love with this series. So, let's get into one of the big things what happened while, I was away, and I finally now caught up, and that was, Thorkel? I think that's how you pronounce his name. He is someone that was introduced, and just right off the bat, I'm gonna say, the man is just a savage. He is a stone-cold savage. I love his design. I love the voice actor. I believe that is the voice actor that voices, Ryder from Fate Zero, which automatically amazing. And I really enjoy how much life he brings to different scenes, especially towards, like, the ending of the recent episodes where he's like, oh, I'll see you again and all that, chase after me, I'll chase after you, and he walks through the fire. It's just such a great moment to really just show off his character. I love it. And so, I want more of the guy. He's honestly one of my favorite characters. Like, if Askeladd and Thorfinn wasn't in the story, he would easily be my favorite, because I just love his personality. It really has just so much charisma that I just can't get enough of it. And I'm interested to see what's going to happen, because it's clear as day. I haven't read the manga, but it's clear that his name being, Thorkel is obviously in reference to Thorfinn and Thors. I'm going to assume that in some way they're related. I don't know, I just have that hunch. Like I said, I haven't read the manga, but it's just for the names to be very similar, for him to be as tall as he is, as strong as he reminds me a lot of Thors. And for him to even know about Forza's life, for instance, Helga and all that, he must have had a relationship with Forza at one point, and for him to show so much respect to Forza as well also says a lot. So I just feel like he is somehow related to Thorfinn. I don't know how, but he probably is. Maybe a cousin, maybe an uncle, I don't really know, but the point is that there is definitely something going on. Whatever the case may be, though, it does make me wonder. If he is, let's say, related to Thorfinn, how would he feel about having to kill his, let's say, relative? Like, you know, Thorfinn. Would he actually do that? Would Thorkel kill, like, his relative or whatever? Would he do that? That's what I wonder. And even then, let's say he is his relative. If he, let's say, doesn't kill Thorfinn, how would he feel about Forza's death? Since he's a warrior, he was like, people down on the battlefield, he probably wouldn't care too much. But if he found out who did it, would he go after them? For instance, Askeladd. There's a lot of questions I have, and so we'll see where the series goes, but it's definitely just very, very enjoyable. So, let's get into the main plot. Since I've been away for a while, let's kind of talk about what it's been about, like the story, where it's going, etc. And obviously, besides the Age of Twilight and all those themes going on, we have it to where there is a big battle going on, and you have it to where Askeladd and his group have decided to be in middlemen, third party, and they don't really know what side they're going to go on. They don't know if they're going to be with, you know, Denmark or if they're going to be with England. They don't really know which side they're going to choose, but they're trying to capture the second in line to the throne, capture them, for they can use him to be able to do whatever they want. But obviously, with the conclusion with the latest episode, it seems like the king or whatever that they captured isn't necessarily a king, but more like a princess. And it leads me to believe that most likely the woman we met a few episodes back that thought that Thorfinn was a slave, which in a way he is a slave. He is a slave to something. That's even what Askeladd said. Everybody is a slave to something. And I feel like that the person that was the slave is probably related to the king or princess most likely, so I'm curious where that's going to go. There's probably going to be some major reveals, but we'll see, which might explain why, you know, Thorkel never killed the prince, because Thorkel knew that the prince was, you know, an actual princess. Gotta say that I'm glad I caught back up with the story. I'm really happy just to see how amazing Vinland Saga is. You know, I'm sorry for having everybody worried about, you know, the reviews thinking I dropped Vinland Saga. I did not by any means. It's just, things happened, and obviously got a little bit busy, and then I pushed it aside, and then I had to catch back up, and, you know, here I am, which, by the way, I'm going to say it right now, because time is kind of running out in the middle of the day, but I do plan on having a One Piece review up as well for the chapter. It's just, obviously, for how long this video is taken, for just all the episodes and analyzing it, you know, I'm going to have to push back One Piece until tomorrow. So you'll see this video probably late tonight, and then you'll see the One Piece video probably early morning. I just want to clarify, if anyone is, you know, wondering about One Piece, there will be a review of it very soon, chapter-wise. So, okay, I love you guys. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. If you enjoy my content, you know, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And with that, guys, I love you. Please be safe. Chibi out.